to each and every one of you. It's an awesome day today. I know we may not feel excited each and every day, but I want to remind you that every day you wake up, it's a great day, because if you didn't wake up today, then it certainly wouldn't have been a great day. So again, I hope that all of you are having a wonderful morning. Those who are on their way to work, get there safely. Those who are already at work, do your thing. And those who are not heading to work today, whatever you are doing, I wish you all the best. And today I have a short message, again, from our book. We've been going through this book. We are almost finished, by the way. We only have about a week and a half, about 10 more days roughly to go, and we will be finished with Strategic Secrets, where we are helping each and every one of us to accomplish our best to achieve greatness, and not only success, but to achieve greatness. I share with you every single morning one chapter from this lovely book, which you can get. The link is here, strategicsecrets.com. This is what we share with you: time-tested wisdom, knowledge, and strategies to be able to regain and take control of your personal life or your professional career. Good morning, Daryl, and good morning, Leah. How are you doing? Welcome, welcome. I hope you guys are having a blessed and awesome day already. Today's chapter and message is very simple, but very, very important, especially in this age that we are dealing with, where everything seems to be a facade. So here's today's topic or title: To Thine Own Self Be True. If you're a reader, you will know that that came from Shakespeare's Hamlet, right? He said there, it's an interesting quotation that many people know. But the reason I'm sharing that is because my French teacher, when I was in grammar school, my French teacher, Mr. Deschamps, will always say something along these lines. He said, listen, this above all, to thine own self be true, and it must follow as night the day. Thou canst not then be false to any man. What he was teaching us as young students is that we must be who, regardless of what's going on. We must be authentically ourselves. Now, today, in this age of, that is thrown around, authenticity, transparency, and the like. But in our Facebook world, in our Instagram, Twitter world, where it's easy to go take a picture in front of somebody's big house, in front of somebody's car, you notice on Facebook, we always see, the nice marriages, everybody's wishing anniversary greetings to their loved one, and we are fooled thinking that most of people's lives are like that. And I know don't get me wrong, I mean, nobody's going to post the worst, but at the same time, there are so many people who are even going through, this is actually proven, so many people are going through depression and comparison issues because they think their life ought to be. Now, I'm not minimizing depression, by the way, but I'm saying that it can be depressing when you think that all of your friends are doing so well because you see their nice post on Facebook, everybody getting their big house, everybody doing this stuff, and you don't realize that most people, realistically speaking, are living paycheck to paycheck. Most marriages, 50% of all marriages are on the rocks. So the reality is it's a facade for the most part. What I'm saying today is that for you to be great, you have to be yourself. Be yourself. Now that means even with your faults and all, own who you are. Now I'm going to give you a little test to figure out if you're being true to who you are at the core. So again, I know this might be a little touchy for some of us, but again, we cannot become great except if we own up to ourselves and become who we are, right? So here's some questions. All right, this is on page 126. How do you know if you are actually being true to who you are? Here are a few basic questions. One, are you reflecting the true you in all that you do? Are you being better? Are you being true to your values, your faith, and your life calling or your purpose? Is your life work in harmony with your unique skills and passions? Because again, that's what midlife crisis is all about. Many people, we get jobs and we enter career fields because we think our parents will be happy for that. We want to live in certain suburbs, so maybe we might get a certain job to reflect that. And then we realize we are not gifted for it. We have no passion for it. People wake up every day like today. Most people, the majority of people are going to jobs they don't like, working for people they don't like, working for salary. But the reality is we think that it's difficult to change. Anaelba, good morning. How are you doing, man? And lastly, do you wake up excited to serve in your job, your business, your ministry, whatever that may be? If you are not waking up excited, if you're not, I'm not saying again, there's sometimes we are down, we're not saying, but generally, we're talking about on the general. The number one thing that predicts whether or not you are going to make it in your life is, what are you doing? Is your career the thing that you really, really want to do? We covered that a few chapters ago where we talked about the 7 signs to identify whether or not you are actually in your alignment, in your perfect job, whatever that may be. So I'm saying that things that we go through, there are challenges, there are tragedies, of course, those things come. But on the general, we ought to be excited. We ought to be happy. We ought to be knowing that we're making a difference. Like, we shouldn't be looking forward to tomorrow because we just hate our jobs. Like, thank God it's Friday ought to be. Thank God I get to spend time with family. Thank God I got a job. Thank God it's going to be the 15th this weekend. Thank God I'm getting a paycheck. But it shouldn't be, oh, thank God, I can't wait to get out of my job. Like, those kind of attitude are not the attitude of people who are destined for greatness. We want to be people who are true to who we are. So here's what I want you to do. Start analyzing your gifts, your talents. And if you are not in your calling, like I said in previous chapters, we went through how to move on. If you know for sure that you are not in the place where you want to be, there's some strategies that you can move on without losing your mind. So go back and read those chapters. Now, but you want to generally be doing the thing that is comes naturally to you for the most part, that you're passionate about, things that bring you joy, intrinsic motivation as well as extrinsic, right? So I want you to go back and start revisiting that. The people you hang around with also supposed to reflect your values. Hang around with people who are going to where you want to go. Hang around with people who can help you get to the next level. Don't hang around with only negative, pessimistic people. Those kind of things will cause you not to achieve greatness. Even if you have the principles, if your environment stays the same, even though the principles work, you're going to say they don't work. It's not that they don't work. The problem is you're dealing with the wrong people, and that can derail your success. Okay, and we deal with that. We have some chapters coming up also that talks about how to deal with toxic people. So if you don't know how to deal with them, trust me, you want to make sure you get this book, strategicsecrets.com, so you can learn how to deal with toxic people in your life. Okay, so that's really what I want to share. It's a simple message. Go ahead and read the chapter. But remember, in order to change, sometimes it's going to take patience. Don't lose patience. Don't lose hope. You have to go through it. You have to sit through. Because, again, being true, think about it. Steve Jobs is true to who he was, right? Bill Gates is true to his gifting and his talents. He's not jumping from one thing. Many of us, we jump from thing to thing. Right, today we into real estate, tomorrow we into something else, and the next day we into this. And so I see that all the time with some of my friends here on Facebook. They're always into something different, and that's why they cannot achieve success, because they're not being true. They're jumping from that one thing to the next. Same thing with relationship. This one spouse or this one girl is not working out, or guy, and so we keep swapping, we keep changing, because we're not committed to the core. When you are true to who you are committed. You go the distance. You're not just in it for the moment. You keep pressing on. That's kind of what I want you to have today. So, by the way, in Shakespeare's Hamlet, this quotation, "To thine own self be true," was passed on from father to son in the play. So here's the thing. This is sage advice today. Today's modern, postmodern era. This advice is very important. Listen. Don't try to put up a facade on Facebook. Don't try to put up facades anywhere. Be uniquely who you are. And if people don't like that, that's their problem. That's their problem. But you can own, God has created you to be who you are. With your personality type, you don't have to try to be somebody else. Be who you are. Own who you are. If people are going to love you, they should love you for who you are. Because when they get into the relationship with you, what's going to happen is they discover that you are totally somebody else, because you were fronting in the beginning of who you are. Same thing in business. You put up this facade, your business is this way, then the customers figure out like, hey, listen, man, this business, it sucks, right? That's because the business is not being true to who they are. Same thing. Houses of worship, people of faith, the same thing. That's what they call hypocrisy in the faith-based community. You say you're one thing over here, but then over there you're total different things. That's a facade, right? That's whatever you want to call it. So my challenge today is simply this: analyze your life and see if there are any areas where you are not being your authentic self. If you're pressured by external forces, your job, your family, whatever it may be, friends or whatever, to be somebody you're not, then you might want to reconsider, okay? Or make the adjustments. Let them know, hey, you know, from this day forward, I'm just going to do me, because I can only be me, right? It takes too much energy and time to be something or someone you are not. So just be yourself. And when you own who you are, then you can function in your talents, in your gifts, in your unique calling and purpose. Don't live somebody else's dream. That's another way to figure out if you're being unique to yourself. Many of us are living other people's dreams. Good morning, Sister Gordon. How are you doing? Right? Don't try to live somebody else's dream. Live your own dream. What, you know, and we do that all the time. We try to keep up with the Joneses. That's one of those kind of issues. Don't try to keep up with the Joneses. You're your own family. Be who you are. And when you own that, God can function through you. He don't want you to be Moses, right? He used all these different people with all character flaws in the Bible. Joseph was Joseph. Daniel was Daniel, right? Moses was Moses, and Paul was Paul. Like they weren't trying to be like the other person, but God used them for who they are with their mess. So even though you have mess, that's part of you. Like fix it, clean it up, but don't try to be somebody else. Own you and work in your own skin, and have the guts, have the have the will, have the desire, have the commitment to say, listen, if there is some areas of my life where I'm not being authentic to myself, then I'm going to make a change. Transitions are difficult. There are periods in my life I've had to do that. I had a great career in the military. But after I experienced a spiritual transformation, I had to make a decision, because I was no longer giving expression to this new person I'd become, right? And then I made the transition from the military to do humanitarian work. When I got into that, guess what happened? Everything seemed to be flowing well. I became even a better person, right? You see the levels you're going to achieve greatness. But even after 7 years of doing that, guess what happened? I grew some more, and I outgrew that particular period of my life. So I had to, guess what, make another change, because if I stayed where I was not being true to who I am and to the new vision that God has birthed in my heart. And so that's what we're talking about. Sometimes that's really what it is. And if you want to go to the next level, you cannot do it by being somebody else. You can only do it by being yourself. So I leave you. This is what my French teacher, Mr. Deschamps, always told us in grammar school. And so today, that's one of the things that I keep in mind. And so I want to leave you again with Hamlet's quotation. This above all, to thine own self be true, and it must follow as night the day. Thou canst not then be false to any man. So therefore, be yourself. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. Take care. Leave a comment, share this video, and we see you on tomorrow.